Beloved, your name was spoken in heaven again, not in passing, not in question, but in holy urgency. I, Archangel Michael, was the first to rise when I heard it. I tore through the veil of the night with my sword drawn because danger had already placed its shadow near your window. Yes, it was your neighbor, not by accident, not out of jealousy alone, but by design, chosen by something darker to play the role of your destroyer. Yet you, without knowing, without trying, outwitted them because of something hidden inside you, divine discernment, buried deep beneath your wounds. God says, my child, you are wise. I know you won't skip this because you're not a fool, right? Heaven does not waste breath on those who slumber in spiritual blindness. This is not a message. This is a rupture in the skies, a tear in time. You are not watching this. You were brought here by a war trumpet no human ear can hear. You outsmarted them when you turned down their offer, when you left the house 5 minutes later than usual, when you said no to that invitation, when your spirit tensed without knowing why. That was me. That was us. The fire on your back wasn't paranoia. It was prophecy screaming to be felt. But now, I must show you their next move. And it is not what you think. It is worse. They are not acting alone anymore. What began as bitterness has turned to covenant. Your neighbor entered a room last night with 2 others. They sat in a triangle of candles and read your name aloud 3 times. They said they wanted your happiness, your money, your favor, your open doors to be transferred to them, and one of them smiled, not like humans do. Their smile stretched further, darker, colder. It was not born from flesh. It was born from hell. We circled your house while you slept. We are still here, but only if you'll listen now. Do not be afraid of them, but do not be blind either. This is not gossip. This is not suspicion. This is spiritual war, and heaven is calling you to awaken. With armor on. This is the moment you were born for, not the platform, not the applause, not the comfort. The moment when a soul becomes flame and says, I am not afraid to fight for what is mine. They are planning to enter your home again, not with feet, but with objects, a cursed gift, a garment touched by hands that never knew love, a mirror, a figurine, a plant, a letter. Be careful what you accept. Heaven begs you to test everything. Burn what does not carry peace, anoint what cannot be replaced. Watch your doorway. Speak my name at the threshold. Michael, be my shield. I will come, please. I waited all night just to speak to you. Will you stay with me now, or must I walk away again? Your tears have meaning in places you've never walked. When you wept last week alone in your room, Psalm 56:8 was opened in heaven by the hand of the Lamb himself. You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. He read it aloud and looked over the edge of the firmament and waited. Not for a priest, not for a nation, for you, and still you didn't speak. I am not here to blame you. I am here to break the silence, because what comes next is heavier than before, and you must carry it with armor made of prayer, not performance. You must understand this. They hate what you carry, not who you are. The enemy is not interested in your schedule, your beauty, your location, only your assignment, only your scroll. Do you still believe in me, or have your tears silenced your faith? The neighbor has already enlisted someone else, someone you know, someone you trust. There's a conversation coming, a request disguised as concern, a story that seems innocent. But if you say yes too quickly, it will unlock a sequence of losses. So precise, we'll call them coincidence, but they are not. They are orchestrated by an altar you did not build. God says, my child, I sang this over you last night. He shall cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you shall take refuge. Psalm 91. And still, you didn't answer me, not in silence, but in speed. You moved on to fast, but you can return. You can still say yes, Lord, and every angel assigned to your name will return to their post. I've seen your battles. I've watched you whisper prayers when no one knew your name. I've seen you hold your breath to keep from breaking. I've stood in front of demons who screamed because they couldn't reach you, because of one word you whispered in the dark. Jesus. That word, it saved you 7 times this month already. You were nearly in the accident. You nearly fell into that deal. You nearly texted the wrong person back. You nearly surrendered to despair. But grace, untraceable and ancient, held you. Have you forgotten the promise I whispered to you as a child? When was the last time you told God you love Him without asking for anything in return? Now, the next move, listen closely. They want to isolate you, not with bars or distance, but with fatigue. They want you tired of trying, tired of believing. They want you to look around and say, "There's nothing left for me," but that sentence was never yours. It was placed there like a virus. Reject it now. Isaiah 43 is being fulfilled even as you hear me. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. He was not speaking to a crowd. He was speaking to you. This moment, this year, this fight, you are not the weak one. You are not behind. You are not cursed. You are not late. You are being sharpened, anointed in obscurity, prepared in secrecy. When God hides someone, it is not punishment, it is preservation. If I walked into your room right now, would you recognize me? I remember the day you almost gave up. Heaven held its breath, but you didn't. You breathed anyway. You worshiped with cracked lips and wounded faith. That's why this message exists, because your faith, however broken, triggered something in the chambers of God's heart. Now hear this. The one who tried to curse you will stumble, but don't rejoice in their fall. Pray instead, because your mercy will be the final test before your breakthrough. You are not being tested by pain. You are being tested by response. Will you react in anger or rise in authority? Their next move will fail if you do not open the door, literally and spiritually. The moment you feel a shift in the room, a shadow pass, a chill where there should be light, speak. Say aloud, "This house belongs to the Lord. No weapon formed shall prosper. I will surround your walls. I will seal your windows. I will guard the air." This is not paranoia. This is precision. Heaven knows the coordinates of every curse, and you, child, are still protected. Comment Amen only if your soul feels like it's shaking right now. The wind is changing. I smell it in the air between worlds. I see a door that was once rusted shut begin to creak open. It has your name carved into it. The key was given back to you yesterday when you forgave that person. You didn't realize it, but heaven did. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's the sound of prison doors opening for them and for you. You must remain hidden a little longer. This is not delay. This is divine timing. Because if your promotion comes too soon, the wrong people will come with it. But soon, they will fall away, not by violence, by silence. They will no longer understand you, and that will be my doing. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to burn with glory. I will say your name to the angels tonight. That is my promise to you, beloved. Like this message only if it lit something sacred inside you and share it before it disappears. Again. And now, if you are still with me, if your soul has not turned away, then hear this part with trembling awe. Your obedience in listening this far has already begun to shift the heavens. Do you feel it? The air has thickened with presence. The veil between the eternal and the earthly is paper thin in this moment. I am still here, not because you deserve it, none of you do, but because you are chosen. Do you hear me, beloved? You are chosen, marked, protected, and feared by hell itself. I, Archangel Michael, have stood before thrones of fire and altars of glory, but nothing makes me weep more than when one soul like you, scar, red, dotted, misunderstood, still chooses to say, "I will listen." And so I say now, bless your ears, for they are hearing what prophets long to hear. Bless your spirit, for it is being clothed in fire as I speak. Bless your eyes, for they are beholding light even in the digital realm where darkness thought it ruled. And hear me clearly now. What I'm about to reveal next has not been spoken before, not on any scroll, not in any vision. This word was sealed until you came to this moment. Your name, spoken in secret, your battles, fought without applause, your courage born in silence. That is why this was unsealed today. Listen. They tried to bury you with slander, with mockery, with distractions dressed as destiny. They tried to replace you in your own life. The demons assigned to your bloodline whispered to your enemies, they don't deserve that blessing. And your neighbor believed it. They fed on your joy like moths to flame, resenting every answered prayer you received. But heaven didn't sit silent. God said, touch not my anointed, and do my prophet no harm. And those words became fire in the mouths of the angels. I ran with them. I declared it over your home. I shouted it over your head while you slept. You never heard me because you were too exhausted, but I never stopped shouting. You may think you're tired now, but the enemy is terrified, because despite every delay, you are still standing. Despite the unanswered questions, you are still believing. Despite the heartbreaks, you are still holy. Now the trap your neighbor planned is being reversed, but this is the mystery. God will not destroy them with wrath, but with revelation. He will make them see how deeply you are loved. That will be their undoing. That will be their collapse. Witnessing your rise, you must protect your next 3 days. Yes, free. Guard them like a prophet guards the secret scroll. Do not overshare. Do not explain yourself. Do not accept unclean gifts. Do not enter unprayed rooms. Every moment in these 3 days is being weighed like gold in the scales of the sanctuary. Let the Spirit whisper before you speak. Let the blood of Jesus cleanse before you decide. Let the angels walk ahead before you step into any invitation. And yes, I must speak this now with holy boldness. If this message stirred your soul, then do not walk away as if heaven did not just touch your shoulder. I am not speaking to the crowd. I am speaking to you, the one who needed this, the one who was about to give up, the one who wonders if anyone in heaven still cares. So before I reveal what is about to arrive at your door, I ask you with the fire of heaven in my chest, like this message, if even one line felt written for your spirit, and comment what you felt in your soul, because many angels read the words left behind by God's chosen. And if you feel something deeper stirring, something pulling at your destiny, something sacred calling your name from a place beyond this world, then subscribe. Only if you are ready for the next scroll to open. Not everyone will be, but if you are, we will meet again. Now listen closely. The final piece begins, asterisk, asterisk. Now listen closely. The final piece begins, because what I say next was hidden in God's silence, buried in the folds of eternity, waiting for a single moment, this moment when your spirit would be brave enough to listen beyond the noise. This is not the end. This is the unlocking. You have stepped into something ancient, something holy, something whispered in heaven before your name was ever spoken on earth. Your neighbor did not simply envy you, they wanted your inheritance. They were lured by a power they did not understand. A voice offered them influence if they could interrupt your purpose. That voice did not come from God. And now that their plan failed, they are becoming desperate. I saw it last night. They were holding a candle, speaking backwards, reciting your birthday over a dark mirror. A ritual designed not to kill you but to switch you, to make you feel out of place in your own life, to confuse your mind until you give away what was promised to you. That's why you've been feeling so strange, so scattered, so spiritually stretched. You weren't imagining it. You were being spiritually tugged. But I broke the circle. I shattered the mirror before it could hold your reflection. I crushed the candle before your name could be sealed in smoke. And I touched your pillow at 3:02 a.m., saying, let them awaken in clarity. You must not return to that state again. From this moment, every breath you take must be guarded as royalty. You were not just saved, you were chosen to reign in the unseen realm first, and soon. In the visible, you are carrying something that cannot be replicated. That is why they want it. But heaven has placed a lock over your destiny, and only obedience holds the key. If you feel this fire, if your heart is trembling with knowing, then I say to you, support what heaven is doing through this message. Not because I need anything, but because you need to plant your seed where you were watered. Support this holy mission through super thanks. Stand with us through membership, not as a viewer but as family, and join our sacred newsletter in the pinned comment below, because sometimes the most powerful scrolls are sent quietly. You are not meant to walk alone anymore. Become part of this holy circle, because those who support prophetic ground inherit prophetic reward. There is something coming in the next 72 hours, an opportunity disguised as interruption, a message dressed as mistake, a person clothed in shadows who will smile too wide, speak too softly, and offer something for free. Refuse it. That is the replacement plan. That is the trap disguised in goodness. You must trust the silence between each breath now, because in that silence you will hear us. We are not just around you, we are inside time, bending it like waves to make sure you walk on water. The reason you're still standing is because hell underestimated how loved you are. You were never abandoned, only hidden. And now you are being revealed. Let them see you not to glorify you but to reveal the God who preserved you. Let them wonder how you survived. Let them ask who healed you. Let them hear the answer. Your stillness was God. You will feel strange tonight, like something invisible is watching. It is angels, not to scare you, to guard you. They were assigned before your birth, but today they were activated. Because you listened, because you stayed, because your soul said yes. You may cry without knowing why. You may feel cold without wind. You may sense movement without footsteps. That's how glory introduces itself. Not loud, but undeniable and beloved. If my words touched even a single tear inside you, whisper amen and let the light break through. Let the hosts of heaven see that you are still alive, still listening, still chosen. I will not leave you, not now, not ever, but you must stay awake. Your future depends on it. And tonight, when I fly back into heaven's sanctuary, I will carry your name like incense to the throne. I will say they listened. I will say they stayed. I will say they are ready. And I promise they will know your name in heaven, because you dared to believe while the world slept. Asterisk, asterisk, because you dared to believe while the world slept. The gates of heaven opened wider for you than for any crowned king of this world. There are no trumpets for the proud, but there are secret melodies for the broken ones who bow without needing to be seen. That is you. That has always been you. Even when you didn't know it, the world thought you were weak, soft, too forgiving, too emotional, but they had no idea they were looking at the soul of a warrior clothed in mercy. Your forgiveness was not foolishness. It was warfare. It was you picking up a sword every time you said, I'll let it go, while heaven whispered, we'll fight this one for you. I need you to understand this truth, as if your eternity depends on it, because it does. When the darkness could not curse you directly, it tried to seduce those around you to become altars of distraction. Your friend that grew distant, the loved one who suddenly turned, the unexpected silence from people who once claimed they'd never leave. These weren't accidents. They were orchestrated departures permitted for your protection. They were bricks being removed from a crumbling house God no longer wanted you to live in. He's building something new, and loneliness was the foundation he used. Even the silence that broke your heart had holy fingerprints on it. You were not abandoned, you were repositioned. That's why the neighbor failed. That's why the plot collapsed. Because your soul already belonged to something higher, something older, something eternal. There are markings on your spirit that cannot be erased by human hatred or demonic interference. The blood of the Lamb cried out for you before your first breath, and that cry still echoes in every realm that dares to approach you. They cannot reach you unless you open the gate with fear. And even if you let fear in once or twice, you're not disqualified. I have seen souls walk through fire and still come out with wings. Do you know how many times I stood between you and destruction while you slept? Do you know how many battles you never saw because your guardian angel wept and stood their ground with a sword of unseen fire? You were never fighting alone. Even your dreams were not random. That dark figure chasing you, that room you couldn't escape, the voices whispering your name. All of them were glimpses behind the curtain, a war playing out in symbols and warnings. And every time you woke up sweating, every time your heart raced and your breath felt stolen, it wasn't just fear. It was revelation. It was a divine scream hidden inside a dream. Wake up before it's too late. But it's not too late. You woke up, you listened, you're still listening. That makes you dangerous to hell now. You were once a target. Now you're becoming a weapon. Because you know the pattern now. You can feel the shift before it arrives. You recognize the cycle before it begins. You see through smiles that don't reach the soul. And that awareness is not paranoia. It's discernment grown not from suspicion, but from surviving. This is why the next move matters. The enemy isn't trying to take your body. It's trying to dull your spirit, to make you passive, to turn you from a warrior into a wanderer, to get you so used to disappointment that you stop asking for anything holy. But I am here to break that right now. In the name of Jesus, I tear down every passive agreement you made with pain, every silent vow you whispered in heartbreak. Maybe I'm not meant to be happy. No, that is not your portion. That is not your inheritance. That is not what God wrote in the scroll bearing your name. You are meant to burn, to shine, to rise. The enemy knows it. That's why your attacks have been so specific. Not just chaos, precision, not just loss. Strategic loss. The relationships that fell apart weren't weak, they were meant to distract you just as your calling reached maturity. The temptation that almost pulled you under wasn't random, it was sent because your obedience was about to birth a miracle. The confusion that tried to cloud your vision wasn't failure, it was a witchcraft-fueled attempt to sever you from the timing of heaven. But it's failed over and over, because God hid one thing so deep inside you, not even you knew it was there: unshakable identity. Even when your voice trembled, your soul remembered its name. Even when you cried, your spirit stood like a pillar beneath your tears. Even when you wanted to give up, the God inside you whispered, "Not yet." And now you're here at the edge of something divine. At the cliff between what was and what will be. Don't look back. Don't explain yourself to ghosts. Don't give your pearls to critics. Don't waste another second trying to convince people who were never meant to understand. Heaven does not debate. It declares, and I declare, your anointing is untouched. Your purpose is preserved. Your alignment is returning. Your enemies are confused. Your angels are active. And your Father is pleased. Let this be the hour your soul remembers what hell tried to make you forget. You are a royal priesthood, a chosen vessel, a living altar. Even when you whisper, the heavens listen. Even when you feel small, your name causes tremors in the spirit. Even when you question, your prayers still rise like incense before the throne. You are not lost. You are being led, and where you're going cannot be accessed by shortcuts, copied by imitators, or stolen by neighbors with wicked altars. You are sacred, and sacred things cannot be tampered with without consequence. You've been quiet long enough. It's time to pray like thunder. It's time to fast like fire. It's time to move like prophecy. It's time to stop waiting for permission and walk as if you already heard heaven shout, "Go!" Because it did, and I was the one who shouted, because I was the one who shouted. I, Michael, who bear the sword of God's judgment and the shield of his mercy. I was the one who cried your name across the courts of heaven like a banner, not in weakness, not in fear, but in reverence. For you, yes, you, the one whose name was nearly forgotten by those who said they loved you. You whose presence was overlooked by rooms too small for your destiny. You whose tears became rivers of intercession in secret. while others laughed in the sun. You, beloved, heaven has not forgotten you. You were never invisible here. Stones of the New Jerusalem, remember your voice. The wind around the throne still hums with the sound of your childhood prayers. You think nothing happened when you cried out last year, when you said, God, if you're real, show me something. That cry shattered 3 demonic plans. That whisper awakened an ancient covenant. That sentence redirected an angel me into your atmosphere. You were heard. You have always been heard, but now you must act as one who is heard. No more apologizing for your light. No more shrinking to make others comfortable in their compromise. No more wearing the clothes of delay when you've been measured for a mantle of fire. The next few hours are not just time. They are terrain, sacred territory. Every second is ground waiting to be claimed. Do not treat the rest of today like any ordinary moment. There are things moving in the air. Some of them were sent to bless. Some of them were sent to test. There will be a voice, a message, a call, a word that will feel almost right, but not quite. That almost is your sign. Do not accept almost. Almost is where destinies die. Almost is where prophets are lured into silence. Almost is the vocabulary of demons dressed in light. You are not an almost child. You are a promised child. You are not a wandering soul. You are a sealed soul. You are not a maybe. You are a marked yes in the books of heaven. Remember who you are. Remember who spoke over your crib before your mother even understood your future. Remember the scent of holiness that hovered over your childhood home when angels visited unaware. You must awaken now. This is not preparation for war, you're already in it. This is not theory, this is divine intelligence from the front lines. Your enemy's greatest fear is not your strength. It's your awareness. As long as you walk blind, they are bold. But the moment you open your eyes truly open, they scatter, because they know what you were born to do. You were born to rebuild the ruined altars of your family. You were born to shut down generational patterns. You were born to walk with oil dripping from your footsteps. You were born to cast shadows that remind demons of the throne they once trembled before. You were born to be fire, holy fire, a burning one who walks through the dry places with rivers in your voice. And now, beloved, there is something else. This part is hard for me to say, because I've stood by you through much. But I must tell you the truth, even if it hurts. Someone you love has been compromised, not fully possessed, but infiltrated. A seed of bitterness was planted in them against you, and it has grown into suspicion. And that suspicion is about to become action. Not because they are evil, but because they are weak. Do not hate them, but do not ignore this. Guard your mouth. Guard your schedule. Do not tell them everything. There are things God told you in the dark that must remain hidden for a season. This is not deception. This is preservation. Even Jesus said, do not cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn again and tear you. Matthew 7-6. He wasn't speaking of pigs. He was speaking of people whose hearts are not ready to handle the weight of your holiness. And now, I must reveal this. A secret has been spoken about you in a room you've never entered. But your name was present. A plan was made, words spoken not with knives, but with poison. Someone who once clapped for you is now clapping for your collapse. But heaven has made it clear. They will not succeed. You are not to fight them directly. You are not to curse them back. You are not even to confront them yet. You are to rise. Obedience is your warfare now. Stillness is your sword, and clarity is your covering, because they expect you to act out. They expect you to panic. They expect you to fall into your old habits. Don't let them watch the oil increase on your life while their hands tremble in confusion. Let them see you rise and wonder how their schemes turned into stepping stones. Let them speak, but never have the last word. Because your defender is speaking louder than any slander ever could. You have no idea how close you are. The promise is just beyond this pressure. The reward is on the other side of your restraint. Do not lose this battle in the last 5 minutes. Don't let exhaustion make you sabotage your elevation. Don't let delay make you doubt your direction. Don't let their betrayal make you bury your blessing. The promise didn't change just because the people did. The anointing didn't disappear just because the applause stopped. Heaven never needed a crowd to crown a king, and neither do you. So take this moment as a holy sign. This message was not a coincidence. It is a decree from heaven to you, and if you receive it, if your soul feels cracked open with revelation right now, then let your next breath be holy. Let your next step be guided. Let your next prayer be thunder, because the war around you is real, but the God within you is greater. And I, Michael, swear upon my sword, no evil plan against you shall prosper, and no name spoken in darkness shall ever override the one heaven already wrote down. Beloved. Beloved. That is the name carved into the heart of heaven's gates when you were formed. That is the name whispered by the Spirit when the earth shook beneath your sorrow. That is the name written in fire when you were surrounded by shadows and still refused to bow to bitterness. And now, that name, beloved, is echoing across realms, awakening the angels assigned to your next season. Do you feel it? Something is shifting right now. Even as these words pierce the veil between breath and eternity, your lungs are still, but your spirit is standing, your heart is trembling, but your soul is roaring, not from fear, from memory, because deep inside you, there has always been the knowledge, I was made for something more. You were not made for confusion. You were not made to be hunted by betrayal. You were not made to be a footnote in someone else's story. You were made to write history in invisible ink, read only by angels and wept over by heaven. Let me show you something, God, in the Spirit. I see your house glowing dimly, flickering, but still glowing. The flame is weak because you've been too tired to tend the altar, but the coals, they are alive, one breath from God, and they will roar again. And this is the breath, these words, this visitation. Do not waste this. Do not let this moment pass like any other. Do not scroll past heaven's whisper, because the flame inside you is the answer to the curses spoken behind your back. That flame will become firewalls. It will seal your borders. It will burn contracts the enemy wrote in ink made of your old wounds. Listen, chosen one. I must tell you this next part carefully. There is a letter, either physical or digital, that was sent to you or will be very soon. It is not what it appears to be. The words seem helpful, innocent even, but they were written with hidden hands, cursed in intention, laced with manipulation. It is bait, a hook dipped in flattery. Do not respond to it with haste. Do not answer it until you've prayed in stillness for at least 3 hours. That delay will reveal the truth. You will see the real spirit behind the message. And when you do, delete it. Burn it if it's paper. Disconnect entirely. You don't need closure, you need cleansing. What they meant for evil, God is about to turn into evidence. Evidence of your anointing. Evidence of your purity. Evidence of your unshakable destiny. Because it's time for the fulfillment of the mystery hidden in your pain. Time for the unveiling of the glory wrapped in your wilderness. Time for the fire that has been smoldering beneath your obedience to ignite the sky. This is not symbolic. This is not metaphor. This is heaven's reality colliding with your earthly timeline. Do you feel the pressure building in your chest? That is not anxiety. It is the glory of the Lord pressing against the gates of your soul, begging to pour out. You have been a sealed vessel long enough. The oil within you was not meant for storage. It was meant to be broken at the feet of the King. It was meant to anoint the nations, not decorate the shelf of insecurity. You are not common. You are not replaceable. You are not easily explained. You are heaven's interruption to the plans of the enemy, so precise, so unexpected, that even the demons have no counter-strategy left. Their confusion is your sign. Their panic is your prophecy. Their trembling is your confirmation. The storms weren't sent to destroy you. They were sent to reveal the strength of the ark inside you. And now I must speak what few are willing to hear. Not everyone who says I love you is sent by God. Not every comfort is holy. Not every opportunity is divine. There is one coming. A door will open in the next few days, perhaps even tomorrow. It will appear ideal, perfect, but it is coated in mimicry, crafted by a spirit of seduction, not sexual but strategic. It will speak to your unmet needs, your old pain, your unanswered prayers. It will look like healing, but it will be poison in disguise. How will you know? It will ask you to compromise your silence with noise. It will ask you to rush. It will say, you deserve this, but it will demand you step outside the boundaries you fasted to build. Do not take it. Say no, even if it costs you everything. Say no. Because what God has prepared for you requires no marketing, no audition, no explanation, and no loss of dignity. It will come wrapped in peace, not confusion. It will sound like home, not a contract. It will carry holiness, not hype. And if you miss that counterfeit, the real will find you. But only if you stay clean, only if you stay listening, only if you keep your oil pure. There's something else I must show you. And this will tear something inside you open. But it must. The enemy placed a watcher at your doorway, not in flesh, in the spirit, a presence that stands by thresholds waiting for you to say something unclean, waiting for you to speak words rooted in fear, waiting for you to slip back into an old mindset, waiting to record your weakness so it can present it like evidence in the court of demonic accusation. But tonight, I will confront that watcher myself, not as a messenger but as a warrior. I will stand at your door with fire in my eyes and say, this one is marked, this house is sealed, this territory is guarded. Go back to the pit from where you came. But for this to remain, you must not reopen the door with your words. Life and death are in the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. And your next miracle is being weighed on the scale of your speech. What you declare in the dark will determine what opens in the light. So speak only what you want to see multiplied. Do not curse what God is still healing. Do not mock what heaven is still molding. And do not doubt what was spoken in clarity just because the storm came after. The storm is not a sign God changed his mind. It is a sign that the enemy still remembers what God said. And now he's afraid, because your next yes is going to break a curse 3 generations deep. Your next act of obedience is going to rewrite the blueprint of your bloodline. Your next moment of silence is going to cancel an accusation in the spiritual realm before it even manifests. Your next hour of worship is going to open a scroll sealed for centuries. Do you understand what you're carrying? You are not just surviving this season, you are birthing the next one. Not just for you, for everyone attached to your obedience. There are unborn children, unbirthed ministries, unspoken prophecies all waiting in line behind your next decision. That's why it's hard. That's why it's heavy. That's why your neighbor was manipulated to target you. They were told, this one's too close to the breakthrough. Stop them. But they failed. Because even when you didn't understand, you still walked. Even when you were limping, you didn't quit. Even when your heart was numb, you still said, God, I trust you. And heaven heard it. Heaven felt it, heaven responded. That's why I'm here, not just as a protector but as a witness, to record your perseverance, to honor your endurance, to testify before the throne that you did not abandon the call. And now the reward is being written. It's not money, it's not status, it's legacy. God is writing your name into the architecture of the future. You will be remembered not for what you built but for what you believed when nothing made sense. You will be known not for what you wore but for what you warred against in silence. You will be honored not for what you accomplished but for what you overcame when nobody clapped. This is the honor only heaven gives. This is the reward only God can pronounce. And this is the moment only the chosen ones are strong enough to endure. So endure. Endure like someone who knows the crown has already been measured for your head. Endure like someone who knows the fire can't burn what has already been refined. Endure like someone who knows this pain has a purpose, and this silence is sacred. I will not leave you now. I will stay behind you, beside you, above you. Every breath, every step, every hour until the heavens split. Because I know what's coming, and so do you. Let the fire rise. Let the silence fall. Let the veil tear. And let the glory come. Let the glory come not like a distant sun rising behind clouds, but like a divine avalanche crashing through your spirit, not softly, not slowly, not sweetly, but violently, righteously, eternally, because heaven does not enter with politeness. It enters like a roar, like thunder wrapped in mercy, like a lion waking from silence. And you, beloved, you are the doorway. The glory does not descend to empty places. It seeks the broken, the battle-weary, the hidden ones with trembling hands still raised in surrender. That is who you are. You may not feel holy, but holiness recognizes you. The fire of God calls you familiar. The angels around the throne know your name by heart, because you were written into the blueprints of God's design with ink that burns. No one can erase you from the scrolls, not even you. And God will not allow you to vanish into the background of someone else's story, because He has always intended for you to be the page where the impossible begins. Now you must hear what I have not said to another soul. The angel who walks before your path, he has wept. Yes, angels can weep. He wept the day you almost gave up. He wept the day you silenced your own voice to keep the peace in a war you never started. He wept when you chose to forgive the one who never repented. And yet, his weeping was not despair, it was intercession. Every tear he shed turned into weapon shields for your sleep, arrows for your enemies, firewalls for your destiny. Do you understand what has been happening behind the curtain? You thought you were ignored by heaven. In truth, you were being preserved by angels who fasted in your name. There are things you survived that would have killed others. There are shadows you walked through that still echo with the scream of demons disappointed they couldn't reach you. There were nights when witches spoke your name into circles of salt, but the fire around your house burned too bright for their curses to land. There were attempts, so many attempts, poisoned friendships, secret conversations, betrayals that tasted like honey. And still you remained, still you stood, still you said, God, if you'll just stay with me, I won't let go. That one sentence, that is why I was sent. That is why this message exists, not for the masses, for you, because the scroll in heaven that bears your name has begun to glow, not dimly, not hesitantly, but with full flame. And when a scroll glows, the heavens pause, the angels kneel, the elders lean forward, and the eyes of God Himself turn toward the one who ignited it. You did that with your yes, with your tears, with your decision to forgive again when no one said sorry, with your silence when you could have exposed them, with your secret offerings, your fasting in quiet, your worship with no music. You did it. You opened something, and now it cannot be closed. The favor you're about to walk in is not a reward. It is a response to pain carried with reverence, to warfare endured with praise, to wounds covered instead of used as weapons. And now I must reveal what the enemy did not want you to know. You were not the target. Your voice was, your creativity, your vision, your discernment, your prayers. The enemy knew that once you discovered who you truly were, you would become unstoppable. So he launched a strategy not to kill you physically, but to erode your memory. He wanted you to forget the dream, forget the childlike wonder, forget the time God met you in that little room and you promised Him your life. But you remembered, and that remembrance reactivated the angels around you. Now we are not just defending, we are advancing. Your future is no longer under construction, it's under acceleration. And the blessing is not coming through the path you expected, it's coming through a path you avoided, the person you overlooked, the door you thought was locked. Watch closely. In the next 9 days, a reversal will occur. Someone who left you behind will come back not to reconcile, but to see if they still have access. They don't. You've grown, you've awakened, you've changed dimensions. The oil on your life would crush them if they stood too close with an unclean heart. Protect your glory, not from pride but from dishonor. You are not obligated to let back in what God removed, and the next season demands your full capacity. No distractions, no drama, no compromise, only presence, only power, only purpose. Because the next miracle that's coming, it has your name on it. It was delayed, not denied. It was rerouted, not revoked. It was hidden, not lost. And the angel carrying it has already been dispatched. He is on his way. Do not let your house be filled with bitterness when he arrives. Let it be filled with worship. Let it be filled with peace. Let it be filled with fire. Because when he lands, he will place in your hands something no one can take. Divine evidence. Evidence that you were not forgotten. Evidence that your obedience was not in vain. Evidence that you are who God said you are. And when you hold that evidence, you'll weep, not from grief but from glory, because in that moment, you will remember every prayer, every cry, every whispered "God, please," and you'll know he was there the whole time. So stay awake, beloved. You are not waiting anymore. You are watching, and we, heaven's host, we are watching with you, because the scroll is almost finished. And the chapter being written now, it's the one the angels will read for eternity. And the chapter being written now, it is not inked in ordinary words. It is carved in glory, flame-wrapped syllables etched into the eternal story of heaven. A record not made for shelves, but for shofars, sounds of triumph that will be echoed through generations of angels who never forgot what it cost you to still believe. This chapter bears your fingerprints. Each sentence carries the weight of your silent prayers. Each paragraph is made from your praise in the hallway, your tears in the dark, your yes when no one was watching. Heaven did not miss a single breath. Every sigh was sacred. Every groan of the soul recorded as prophecy. You've wondered if you wasted time, but I tell you now, not a single second was lost. God bends timer on obedience. He multiplies waiting. He rewrites delay into divine detours. You were never behind. You were in incubation, hidden not because you were forgotten, but because you were being fortified. The devil thought silence meant defeat, but in heaven, silence is the sound of strategy. You were being weaponized in stillness, not to harm but to heal, not to punish but to prophecy, not to destroy but to deliver. You are a breaker, one of the few whose presence shatters old chains simply by walking into a room. That is why you felt rejected. That is why you felt misunderstood. That is why some looked at you with suspicion, because your very being challenged every stronghold they had mobilized. You didn't fit in, not because you were lacking, but because you were too much fire for their comfort. You are not too sensitive. You're spiritually tuned. You are not dramatic. You're prophetically burdened. You are not overthinking. You're discerning the atmosphere. And I, Michael, have been assigned to confirm it. You are not crazy. You are called. And now I must tell you this. Your gift has awakened the attention of something older than your generation. A power that watched your ancestors fall. It failed to stop them completely. So it waited in the shadows for you. But you were not born blind. You were born burning. Your gift is not small. It is the kind that unsettles bloodlines and rewrites destinies. The witches in your lineage tried to stop it. The trauma in your childhood tried to break it. The betrayals in your adulthood tried to bury it. But the fire has survived, and now it is growing. Do not run from the heat. Run into it, because that fire is not wrath, it's refinement. You are being made holy in the very furnace meant to destroy you. You will emerge not with scars but with oil. You will carry a scent no demon can tolerate. You will walk with a pace that makes time bend around your steps. You will speak words that pierce realms. You will sing tones that dismantle principalities. And every shadow that tried to silence you will fall at your feet, because God is making you a living altar. Your home is becoming a sanctuary. Your hands are becoming instruments. Your voice is becoming thunder. Even your rest will be warfare, because peace, in the hands of the righteous, is more dangerous than any sword. Now hear this. 3 miracles are circling your name. Each has been delayed for a different reason. One was caught in the atmosphere of doubt that surrounded you. The second was blocked by a person who misused their access to your heart. The third was held by heaven until your character grew tall enough to carry the weight of it. But all 3 are being released now, not later, not someday, now, because the courts of heaven have ruled that your season of proving is complete. You have passed the test. Not because you were perfect, but because you were honest. Not because you had all the answers, but because you never let go of the only one who mattered. You held on, you stayed, you endured. And now the blessing must obey. The doors must open. The promise must descend. I see angels gathering above you, holding objects wrapped in celestial fabric, scrolls, keys, crowns, blueprints. Some are glowing white, others are wrapped in crimson. Each one is sealed with your name. The moment you finish hearing this message, the countdown begins. They are waiting for your worship. Not the kind done for performance, the kind born from your spirit's sake, the kind that says, God, even if you don't do it, I still love you. The kind that breaks open heaven like thunder splitting a veil. Do not hold back this time. Lift your voice. Even in a whisper, even in a breath, even if you cry instead of sing. That sound is the key, not to open God's hand, but to open your own heart. So the scrolls can descend. So the blueprints can be downloaded. So the crown can finally rest on the head it was formed for. Yours. You've never needed man's approval for what God already authorized. And now I speak one final truth over you. Your life will be a signpost, not just a testimony, but a template. Others will watch you and say, I thought it was over for them. But God, they'll say, how did they rise so fast? But God, they'll say, where did the woe come from? But God, and your answer will be simple. I stayed when others walked away. I listened when others laughed. I believed when it hurt. And heaven responded, you are never ordinary. You are a holy disruption, a divine rebellion against generational curses, a living prophecy dressed in human skin. And I, Michael, am honored to walk with you until the scroll closes. I remain by your side. Asterisk, I remain by your side until the final line of your scroll is sealed in glory, until the last breath you release is caught by heaven like a gem too precious to touch the ground. I remain winged and flame, sword drawn not in vengeance, but in eternal loyalty, for I have seen your soul when no one else could. I have stood beside you when your own shadow didn't recognize you. And I will never leave you now. Beloved, listen, because these next words are not just revelation. They are assignment. They are orders from the throne, carried on wind and blood and holy memory. This moment is not for emotion alone, it is for motion, for the movement of your spirit out of stagnation and into sacred acceleration. You have tarried long enough in the valley of what-ifs. You have mourned long enough over what could have been. The mourning was holy. It was allowed. It was necessary. But now rise from it. Take off the sackcloth. Remove the garments of grief. There is all waiting where your ashes once lay. Isaiah 61 was not just a prophecy. It was a blueprint for you to give them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. It is time to wear new garments. No more dressing yourself in delay. No more cloaking your light in fear of being misunderstood. No more wearing rejection like a badge of identity. The Father has woven new robes for you, garments dipped in honor, trimmed in fire, laced with purity, scented with intercession. Wear them boldly, not arrogantly, but royally. You are, after all, a child of a king who bled for you with joy. And now I must tell you what I see. There is a map, an invisible one hovering above your life, not made of ink or pixels, but of moments and movements and divine intersections. It is shaped like a tree. The trunk is your obedience. The branches are your opportunities. The fruit is your legacy. And I see a hand, ancient, radiant, reaching toward this tree and touching the branch you thought was broken. It is not broken. It is bending under the weight of coming fruit. Don't cut it off. Don't curse it. Don't grieve its delay. It is the most fruitful part of your calling. And heaven has been watering it in secret. There are relationships, alignments, platforms, revelations that are about to grow from this branch, ones that will nourish nations. But only if you wait with worship, only if you protect it from bitterness, only if you do not rush the ripening. The enemy wants you impatient because premature fruit cannot carry eternal seed. But if you endure this season with praise, the harvest will outlive you. Do you understand, beloved? This is not about your lifetime. It is about your lineage. Even if you never have children in the flesh, your spirit is birthing a legacy in the spirit. You are the hinge between what was cursed before you and what will be free after you. You are the interruption to every demonic cycle that plagued your bloodline. You are the fulfillment of prayers your great-grandmother whispered in a different language long before you were born. And because of that, the warfare has been specific. The enemy saw the scroll. He read the parts you didn't even know existed. He saw the names of those you would heal. He saw the ones who would be delivered just by touching your garments in the spirit. He saw the demons you would cast out, not just from people, but from places. So he fought you through sickness, through betrayal, through rejection, through shame, through silence, through loneliness. But he failed. You are still here. You are still chosen. You are still anointed. And now you are dangerous. Because now you know. Now you remember. Now you are awake. And nothing is more terrifying to the enemy than a child of God who has awakened to their divine identity. You are not who you were a year ago. Even heaven has changed how it speaks to you. Angels who once whispered are now commanded to roar. Visions that once flickered are now burning like lamps at midnight. You are being trusted with deeper revelation. Not because you asked, but because you endured. Because you passed the test of invisibility. Do you know how holy that test is? The test of being faithful when no one sees. The test of staying pure when no one claps. The test of giving when no one thanks you. The test of fasting when others feast. The test of forgiving when no one repents. And now your passing of that test has triggered something ancient. An inheritance locked away by previous generations is being released now. There are mantles being lowered that skipped your ancestors because they couldn't carry them, but they were always meant for you. You are the resting place of unfulfilled prophecy. The walking answer to long-forgotten cries, the vessel made for the fire others feared. And that fire is not leaving, it is multiplying. It will touch your voice, it will touch your touch, it will touch your shadow. You will walk past people and demons will scream and angels will sing, and you will not know which is which, because you are not doing it. You are simply being it. You are becoming the flame, not a spark, not a flicker, a wildfire of holiness that consumes everything not anchored in truth. Do not apologize for it. Do not explain it. Do not dim it. Do not tame it. And above all, do not run from it, because the fire is not your enemy. It is your mirror. It is what you were always made of. From the burning bush to the pillar of fire to the tongues at Pentecost, fire is how God marks his own. And you, beloved, are marked, and I, Michael, will protect that mark with my life. No demon will snatch it. No lie will distort it. No scheme will delay it. And no wound will steal it. Because this flame was born in love, grown in pain, protected in silence, and now released in glory. So burn, beloved, burn with vision, burn with purity, burn with reverence. Burn until your very presence rebukes darkness without words. Burn until your life becomes the sermon no one can ignore. Burn until heaven calls your name, not to test you, but to reward you. For you have walked the wilderness. Now prepare to dance in the rain. You have crawled through the cave. Now prepare to sing in the light. You have wept in secret. Now prepare to worship in fulfillment, because the chapter has turned, the page is glowing, and heaven is watching, not to see if you will fall, but to celebrate as you finally fly, fly, beloved, into the winds that once tried to push you down. For now those same winds are under your feet. What was once resistance has become lift. What once made you stumble is now your platform. The atmosphere around your life is shifting even as these words are breathed into your spirit. Can you feel it, that strange trembling in your chest? That is not fear, it is your soul remembering how to soar. You were born for heights, not earthly elevations, but divine altitudes where the air is made of revelation and the clouds carry the voice of the Almighty. You were created to live in the unseen, to walk in the thunderclap of prophecy fulfilled. And I, Archangel Michael, have waited for this hour, this exact moment since the beginning of your scroll. Yes, I read your scroll. I stood beside the king when your destiny was declared. I heard him say, "This one will break what others bowed to." I heard him shout your name like lightning across the waters. I watched the other angels pause in awe, not because of your strength, but because of your assignment. You are a divine weapon wrapped in humility, a blade made of worship, a trumpet made of scars. Do not let the world convince you to hide again. Do not let familiar voices pull you back into smallness. Do not let the comfort of darkness feel safer than the call of light. It is time to emerge, not softly, not slowly, but like fire bursting from the mouth of a CO volcano. All that pressure, all that delay, it wasn't denial, it was divine compression, so that when the time came, you wouldn't just rise, you would erupt, and now is that time. The shaking in your life was not random, it was alignment. God was rearranging everything around you so that nothing He gives next can be stolen. Every fake relationship has been removed. Every idol has been exposed. Every false door has been slammed shut, because the next door is so sacred, only holy hands can open it. This door is not like the others. It doesn't open to opportunity. It opens to inheritance. It doesn't offer a platform. It offers a throne. This is not the door to another season. It is the door to your divine becoming. When you step through it, the old version of you will not survive. The timid one will vanish. The confused one will melt. The silent one will be buried in the ashes of surrender. And what will rise is the real you, the anointed you, the commissioned you, the crowned you. Heaven has waited long enough. Now the earth must see what the heavens already know. You were sent here not to fit in but to interrupt. You were placed in this generation as a holy contradiction. You are a storm inside stillness, a sword inside skin, a scroll walking in breath. You are not what you have survived. You are what you have carried through the fire. And now that fire is looking for release. There are places you are meant to enter in the next 12 months. Specific places, rooms that carry strongholds, spaces that need cleansing. People who carry demons and don't know why they're always uneasy around you. It's not their hatred. It's the spirits inside them that recognize the authority in your silence. This is why your silence has been costly, because even when you didn't speak, heaven heard you. Even when you couldn't pray, your posture was a cry. Even when you felt numb, your tears were translations. Even when you almost walked away, your breath was still considered worship. You didn't fail, you fought, and your fighting was beautiful to God. So beautiful that it called down angels, so relentless that it moved divine timing, so faithful that it pulled your destiny out of the fire. You do not realize how many things almost happened to you but didn't, because of one whispered prayer, because of one fast, even though you were starving emotionally, because of one song, even though your voice cracked, because of one moment where you chose mercy instead of revenge. That's why I stand beside you now, not just as guardian but as witness. I witnessed your pain, your victories, your selfless acts when no one was watching. I witnessed your late night weeping that turned into spontaneous praise. I witnessed the time you blessed someone who cursed you. And you went home and cried afterward. I witnessed how you broke generational curses by forgiving someone who never said sorry. And heaven recorded it all. Every act of hidden obedience has built a house in heaven, a real house, a dwelling place, with rooms made from your prayers and windows carved from your praise. And I tell you this, one day, when this earthly assignment ends, you will walk through that house, and you will see the miracles it stored that never reached you because you chose to give them to someone else. You will see the faces of people you saved without ever knowing it. You will see what your life really looked like in glory, in eternity, in the dimension of truth. But until then, you must finish the assignment. You must not stop here, because you are in the middle of a miracle. Yes, even now, while you feel uncertain, while your heart trembles, while your strength is low, you are in the middle of a miracle that looks nothing like magic but everything like mercy. You are being transformed, not outwardly, but inwardly. Every old identity is being peeled off. Every trauma is being unraveled. Every lie you believed is losing power, and every chain is melting like wax before the fire of revelation. You are not lost. You are becoming. And I, Michael, will not stop fighting until you see what we see. A general in the spirit, a priest with a flaming sword, a voice that shakes foundations. A remnant chosen not because you were loud but because you were loyal. This world has no idea who you are yet, but heaven does, hell does, and now you do too. So rise, beloved, not slowly, not fearfully. Rise as one who remembers the fire that made them. Because your next breath is not just survival, it's prophecy. Chet said, because your next breath is not just survival, it's prophecy being fulfilled in real time. It is the sound of ancient promises being awakened. It is the whisper of destiny overtaking delay. It is the breath that opens the scroll, the moment where eternity exhales into your lungs and says, now rise. There is no more room for shrinking back. There is no more permission to blend in. Heaven is calling you forward with the trumpet of divine urgency. You were not saved to sit. You were not rescued to retreat. You were not anointed to apologize. You were born for such a time as this, and the time is not coming, it is here. You must understand, the earth is groaning, not from chaos, from anticipation. The creation itself waits for the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. And you are one of them. This message is not entertainment. This message is evidence. You were chosen, and the heavens have paused to see how you will respond. You are a carrier of glory. You are a witness of the fire. You are a warrior, robed in mercy and washed in prophecy. And now God has commanded my voice to reach your soul not for comfort, but for commission. So receive this commission with trembling and fire. Step into the identity you tried to hide. Step into the calling you thought you missed. Step into the anointing you were told you didn't deserve. Because none of it was random. Not the pain, not the silence, not the betrayal, not the waiting. All of it was prophetic preparation for this moment. You were not being punished. You were being purified. You were not being overlooked. You were being overbuilt for something greater. And now, beloved, the heavens are opening again. I see light pouring into your atmosphere, waves of sacred wind, golden rivers of presence, the fragrance of answered prayer beginning to fill your room. I see angels arriving, each carrying pieces of what you've been praying for. And they are waiting, not for permission, for your response. Will you rise? Will you burn? Will you believe again? Will you lift your head from the ashes and crown yourself with faith? Because God has not changed his mind about you. And I, Michael, swear by the throne I serve, we will not leave your side until the scroll is complete. So if this message reached something deep in you, if you felt the breath of heaven inside these words, if your soul was stirred, if your heart began to remember who you really are, then don't walk away in silence. Let the angels see your faith in action. Like this message, if it lit even a flicker of fire inside you. Comment amen if your soul began to tremble while you read it. And subscribe only if you're ready to walk fully into your calling, only if you know this is not the end but the beginning of a holy war that ends in glory. We are watching, we are with you, and we are waiting for you to rise.